far as Jacob goes, he said last night that he needs to shoot more. You look at his numbers, and he doesn't shoot the puck a lot. Have you guys been on him to shoot more? Is that a good example of just being a puck on net and running?
Yeah, you look at it. Perfect example would be a team like Dallas. They won 2 games because they just took wrist shots from the point. They did. If you take out their wrist shots or point shots, they probably don't win either of those games. So it's such a underrated skill and underrated use of play in the NHL for some teams, and obviously Dallas, not them. So yes, we want all our defensemen, and Bryson included in that, to get comfortable. But the forwards have to get comfortable with it too. Just a simple low to high in the offensive zone and get to the front of the net, which we talk to them a lot. It's not a habit for us. It's not ingrained in us. So, we're progressing along that way, and Bryce fits in that category. So the goal he scored last night, you snap it to the net quick enough, it bounces off their defenseman, and the goalie has no chance at it. And we're leaving a lot of goals on the table that other teams are scoring doing that. We don't do that enough, in my estimation. So for Bryce, yes, we want him to shoot more.
We've seen you guys, last night's another example, you can skate with other teams, Colorado, both games, and there's other examples, Edmonton. St. Louis and Dallas are a different kind of hockey. Minnesota's kind of in the middle. How do you translate when you're able to play the skating game you play when you are meeting a team that's a little more heavy?
Yeah, I mean, to play our game, we need to have pucks where we can pursue them. The old school way of saying is get pucks behind their defenseman. And in essence, that's what it is, but it's getting it to where we're skating into it. So it's more than just getting it behind him. It's looking at seeing, okay, where's our speed coming? Let's put the puck to that area so we can pressure it. It's all about that pressure and forcing that pace. If you've got a bigger team, bigger defenseman, make them skate. They're great when they have a tight gap, but when they got to turn and go back, and Anders Bjork is chasing them down, it's going to be a tough challenge. And so we're at our best when we're doing that. We're putting pucks to areas that we can pursue. I shouldn't say, I don't feel like we're learning how to do that. We're challenged to do that consistently. And I felt last night, and when we play better, we do that. And we're kind of, if you think of where guys are in their career, Okposo goes in a game and he knows the importance of playing as a team and playing, the drop of the puck at 7 o'clock as a 5-man group. I think we're a young group where the guys are going in the game, they're like, their thought is individually, like, I want to play my best game. And it doesn't go through the team first. Then 10 minutes in, it's like, oh, geez, we better focus on the team because we can't get the puck out of our zone. And last night was one of those games where we focused on the team. The drop of the puck, 7:42 last night. Puck drop. We played as a 5-man unit. And everybody got what they wanted individually. It was better. And unfortunately, that's a lesson that you keep learning. It's like, it's no different than, we go through games and guys go through a season, and you only have so much energy. So you want to conserve it and you don't want to waste it. But a lot of times that's taking shortcuts. So you got to learn how to be efficient without taking a shortcut, because you want to manage your energy and you don't want to deplete it. And that's some of what we're learning to play more efficiently as a 5-man unit. So then, it's a growth. Like if I look at Tage Thompson, if you're trying to score every shift, it's a tough game. If you do what's needed as a team, you're going to have 3, 4, 5 shifts in the game where you'll have a chance to score, and you'll actually recognize it. So the stress of it is gone, and then the efficiency is high. But the guy that hops over, most players hop over and they're just trying to score. It's a tough game to play, and we're trying to revert that to the other way.
Did you think that, you say most players trying to score, in the last few games, Skinner had only scored in the 4-goal game in the last 13 games, but he had created a lot of chances in different games, so he was very active with the puck, away from the puck last night too. Did you sense that he was not getting goals but playing some of the right way, and eventually he was going to get one he win again?
I did. I was not dissatisfied with this game overall. I mean, there's obviously you know, when you're not winning, there's segments in there that you want better. You know, you want this guy to do better with everybody because you think that's would have made the difference in the game. But Jeff, I've liked his game. He's actually been a really good leader. You know, if I think of that line, you know, Tuck is accomplished within the NHL. Thompson has not been till recently. You know, he's been fighting for his own survival in the league until recently. But Skinny has expectations tagged on him, you know, from the day he signed his contract, his most recent contract, to the fact that he scored 200 some goals in the NHL. Like, with that come elevated expectations, and I don't believe either of his line mates have such lofty, you know, such intense expectations on him. And Skinny's had to deal with that, and he's had to learn how to deal with that, and he has dealt with it very well in my estimation. And you know, it's a great job by him, and I think he's led those two guys in ways that you wouldn't really notice unless you stop and think about what I just said. I mean, he's really been a leader to that line, and so I think he's been going in games to even elevate those two guys at times. But he's been the real key to me on that line. Has been him.
You've got a lot of guys who've gone through the U.S. program. How did that set a pace for them to get to this level?
John, were you referring to guys right here or guys in the league?
Yeah, you got Tuck, Hayden, Bjork, Butcher,
Yeah.
Gerald. I mean, there's a lot of guys even here who went through it, let alone other teams.
Yeah, I can tell you, you know, Samuelson and Fitzgerald were really key for me. I was excited to have them up and paired as partners on D because I know they play the way. I mean, Fitzy was there for 2 years, and I know Samuelson was under the same assistant coach that I hired there. So the systematically of it, you know, I felt they've even helped our entire D corps play the way we need to play. But you know, when you go through the national team program, you go through a ton of adversity. You're specifically the U17 year. You take kids out of the best bantam hockey players in the country, you select them, they skip their midget level of play. We put them right in the USHL. So they go from bantam hockey, skip midget AAA hockey, and go right into the USHL. So they're giving up size, strength, speed, experience. And these are young players like, you know, Matthew Tkachuk and Austin Matthews, and they actually have to learn how to play together because they cannot impose their will on the game anymore. Much like a talented guy entering the NHL, you have to figure out how to use your teammates and line mates, and you actually have to know the game and situations within the game. So you learn a lot of those, and that really helps in the transition to the NHL. I would venture to say those kids would say the hardest year of acclimation would be the first year at the national team program, not the first year in the NHL. And I would bet you 9 out of 10 of those players would tell you that was the hardest year of their career. Because of that, it was like they were Superman, and they were kryptonite. Is the way I would always look at it. You know, they would roll through youth hockey, and then you throw them in the USHL at 15 or 16, and their skill set isn't there yet. So.
As far as Jacob goes, what he sat out a game recently. There was a time 2 years ago with Rochester he sat out a game, and that was the line in the season. Maybe he's developed. He just took off from there. Is he the kind of guy that when he sits out a game like that or whatever, that he would use it as an opportunity?
He does. You know, he sat out one, I think, recently too. We were just rotating defensemen, so it wasn't, you know, anything that a repercussion of anything. We just were rotating. But I really felt what you're saying, Bill, and we talked about it. I remember talking about it with Kevin. This is going to help him. I know he is going to find a way. And we talked about with Jack Quinn missing games. You know, to have the opportunity to step back doesn't mean you stop internalizing. You internalize different things that can then you add, and I think that happened with Jacob when he was, you know, skipped over a game here recently, because he's come back in every game he's been good, even better, and he was struggling a little bit more with that consistency at that point.